Hey, football fans, this is Gary Greene, longtime professional sports bettor and sports handicapper here for the past 35 years in Las Vegas. And this is your college football stock up teams of the week, heading into week number 12. And we have a bunch of them teams really rolling at the right time of the year. And I expect all of these teams to continue to have success the rest of the way. They have had fine seasons, and a couple of them will have a tough game here to finish off the year. But overall, these teams have had a phenomenal season, and I expect it to continue. And I always say, when the train's rolling, don't jump onto the tracks in front of it. I don't expect any of these teams to simmer down the rest of the way. We'll start off with South Carolina. Head coach Beamer's doing a fantastic job. This team's 6-3. Didn't really see it. I don't see the overall talent. The defense has some superstars on it, but overall, I didn't expect this team to have a shot to go 9-3, and that's the situation where they're going to have this year because they finished the year with Ole Miss, Wofford, and then at Clemson, which is going to be a fantastic game, a rivalry game. And even though overall Clemson's talent's a little better than South Carolina and they're going to be playing at home, will be a tough game to win on the road, but I expect them to be very competitive, and this is a team that the stock is way up. Next is my UCLA Bruins, and boy, oh boy, this team has really turned it around of late. 3 straight wins. This is a team completely devoid of solid talent, but this team is really playing hard, and you got to tip your hat to the head coach Foster. I mean, I really thought that, jumping into the Big Ten in your first season like that, with this caliber of talent, he didn't really pull in any big recruits. And 3 straight wins now, and again, an offense that's very challenged. But, they lost a really heartbreaking game to Minnesota, a game that they could have won. They had a chance to win that game, and they blew it late. And I thought, wow, this is the end of this team. They are going to just crumble, and that'll be it. No, we won't get any more wins. I'll have to put all my UCLA gear away. And lo and behold, they went out and won 3 straight games. Very impressive. And, they're winning close games, and so that's a sign of maturity, but well-coached teams will win close games. They've won by 3, 7, and 3 points, so they've all been tight games. Could have went either way, just like the Minnesota game. But I really am impressed with Foster. I think this is going to bode well heading into next year, regardless of what happens here. But now they only need to win 2 of their final 3 games to get a bowl berth in this season. And a bowl berth with this team in this league, to what they had to start out the season, folks. They had to play Indiana, LSU, Oregon, and Penn State. And 3 of those were very long trips, 2 across country one way and then 1 all the way to Hawaii. That was not a recipe for success in any way, shape, or form with a team of this caliber of talent. But what they've done so far in these last 3 weeks now to keep themselves in a position to really have an opportunity, and now they finished the year at Washington, USC, rivalry game, and then Fresno State. They can pick off 2 of these teams the way they're running right now, so you got to tip your hat and just say, hey, 6-6 season for a lot of teams would be a disaster. But for UCLA with this talent this time around, the first time around for Foster, fantastic job. Hats off to him. Next up, one of my 2 favorite teams, other than the favorite teams that I always have, but these are my 2 teams here in my heart, Army, Navy, Air Force as well. But Army and Navy this year just having phenomenal storybook seasons, and Army still undefeated at 9-0. And they got a tremendous quarterback. They're well coached, always have been, with their head coach Monken. And this is a team, Army, that has 317 points scored on offense. The defense has only allowed 93 points. This is these are service academies where usually the defense is a little bit more challenged. They don't have the size, and yet this year, this defense playing phenomenal football, and now we're going to see them play Notre Dame. Now, they're going to have to play Notre Dame the same way that Navy already did, and Navy has gotten their first loss playing Notre Dame, a team nobody wants to play right now. That's a train going at about 5,000 miles an hour, so you don't want them. But they have their opportunity. Navy kind of threw their game away by turning it over and over and over, 6, 7 turnovers in the game. Nobody's winning a game against anybody doing that, but against Notre Dame, they were definitely not going to win. But overall, Army, again, they have been fantastic so far this year. You got to tip their hat to them. They were lucky they missed Tulane, so they didn't have to play the other really top quality team in the conference as well. They will get to match up with Navy in the season finale, of course, but the Notre Dame UTSA should be a winnable game, and maybe we see what they do against Notre Dame. They should give them at least a run for their money. Next up is Yukon. And we're not talking about the national champs in college basketball, folks. We're talking about Yukon football, college football, 7-3. One of the greatest stories that nobody's talking about this year. Head coach Jim Mora doing a fantastic job. They've won 3 straight games. This is a team that was 3-9 last year, and they were getting bludgeoned. They had nothing going for them last year, and to turn it around like this, the schedule hasn't been all that difficult, but the bottom line is this team has an opportunity to finish the year. They play at Syracuse and then UMass, and I got to believe they're beating UMass. So, if they can pull off an upset against Syracuse, if they were to finish the season 9-3, this storybook job, this guy's up for Coach of the Year doing a job like that with this team. I've been really impressed by this team, and they've done well the last few weeks. So their team that you could look to bet on. The last couple of years, I was looking to pounce on them late in the year because they just had no talent really, but they ran out of gas. Those type of schools don't have a lot of depth, and that's when you can pounce on them at the end of the year because they just ran out of gas and there's nothing to play for. But not this year. You got to tip your hat to Jim Mora and the Yukon Huskies. Next up, the state of Colorado is flying high right now, folks. And if you've been watching my videos for about the last 3 or 4 weeks, I've had a team snuck in there in the stock up or during the videos that I did where I was mentioning that they were a stock up team, and that's the Colorado State team. This is a team that has played really, really overachieving type football this year, and their coach Norvell has done a tremendous job. This team's 6-3, but the key is they're 4-0 in the Mountain West, and they have 4 straight wins right now. The defense is playing outstanding, and they have a chance to play in a Mountain West title game if they can just win out. And the bottom line is they have Wyoming, Fresno State, and Utah State. Winning out is not, some long shot odds like, say, even Army is to go undefeated, or even BYU to go undefeated. Even though I still think that they will, that's still an opportunity for a team here, Colorado State, that's been a bottom feeder for the last few years. This guy's done a great job turning this program around, and I got to tip my hat to this team too. And I've been saying it though, week after week after week, and I've been pouncing on them and cashing tickets, and I've had a tremendous college football season. But sometimes I'm not big on betting the lower echelon teams and asking them to win for me. I'm trying to spot the better teams on the right situations and not catching them in flat spots or sandwich games or look-aheads or what have you, big revenge against them. But this Colorado State team, again, I would not be surprised if this team ends up playing in the title game, and that would be one of the most unbelievable stories again in college football. We got some great ones that nobody's talking about because all you talk about is the top 20 type teams, and they're not a top 20 type team, no way, no how. But I give them a lot of credit. They're playing good football here going down the stretch, and they're going to a bowl game, so tip your hat. Next up is the Colorado Buffaloes. Deion Sanders and company last year was a tough one. Kind of ate it. Kind of probably, you could say, the most cocky team in college football. And they ate it last year. But boy, what a turnaround. They're really playing well now, 7-2. They've got everybody healthy now. Won 3 straight ball games. The offense is clicking like we expected. This is a team that's got some of the fastest wide receivers. This brings me back to the old days when Miami and the Hurricanes had that speed. And we'd say on the radio, I did shows in the casinos for many years, and I used to say, speed kills, speed kills. And that you can't cover speed. Most teams don't have the talent, and this Colorado Buffalo team has a lot of good speed at the wide receiver position. Of course, the quarterback Sanders, he's had an up and down career really at Colorado, getting sacked a lot. The offensive line not playing great, but the offensive line right now is playing fantastic. Their big pickup in the portal, Seton, this guy's not giving up anything. You can't even come close to going by him. He's protecting the quarterback well. When you protect the quarterback and you have speedy guys going down the field, you're going to be able to make a lot of plays. And this offense for Colorado, 41 points, 34, 34, 28, 48, and 38 in the last 6 games. So they're clicking on all cylinders. When you're clicking on all cylinders, that helps make up for a little bit of deficiency, which they do have on the defense, even though they have one of the 2 best players in college football on defense in Hunter. But overall, team has gotten a little bit healthy. They're playing good football now, and they're not getting the negativity that they were getting last year. And the final part of the season, it's all up to them. They have their destinies in their own hands. So it's interesting to see what happens. And they have Utah, who's coming off the most crushing loss of all time this week. And then they have Kansas, who is playing a little bit better, but they're better than Kansas is. And then they have Oklahoma State, who's just been knocked out. I don't know what the hell happened there. Nothing's gone right for Gundy, and his teams have always played well. So, they're definitely beating Utah and Oklahoma State. It's just a matter of can they win on the road at Kansas, finish the season, where they go to the Big 12 title game. Folks, the Big 12 title game. They're going to be in the college football playoff if they can just get to that title game. And we're going to have one of the greatest Big 12 title games. If BYU goes in undefeated and plays Colorado, oh my God, the ratings on that game will be maybe one of the highest we've seen in years for any game, because every Deion Sanders game is that way. But, it's a remarkable season. And again, if they finish 10-2, a lot of teams had counted them out. But this is a team that's really regrouped, and they circled the wagons, and they're playing well. And I would not be looking to bet against this team right now, not the way the offense is running. So I'm rooting for it to be a BYU Colorado title game. I picked BYU to go undefeated weeks ago, and I hope that they get there. And last week, boy, they were the luckiest team in the world. But when you're a good team, luck will find you. When you're a bad team, bad luck will find you. And that's just the way it is. And that's why I always say, don't bet bad teams. Bad luck will find a way to find them every single time. And we'll finish off here with Notre Dame and Washington State. And first, Notre Dame, 8-1. Now they've won 7 straight games. And folks, they lost to Northern Illinois. They were written off. So nobody's talking about a team that's on national TV automatically every week, NBC, but now even this year they've been on some different channels as well. They have a tremendous quarterback in transfer Leonard, but they lost their best cornerback, and I thought, that couldn't, you lose a guy of that caliber, an all-American type of guy, going to be tough to replace. This team has not missed a beat. They're destroying people. I mean, they're just running away, right? The games are over fast. And when you wipe out a Navy team that was undefeated playing that way, you are on top of it right now, and you're clicking on all cylinders. And again, that train's running about 5,000 miles an hour right now. 52 points, 52, 51, 49, 3 of their last 4. So they're right in a 50-point-a-game range these last 4 weeks, and they're clicking, and they got Virginia, Army, and at USC. And, of course, Army is going to be a very difficult game, I think. I don't foresee that they're going to turn the ball over as poorly as Navy did. Navy just had the worst day that they could have ever imagined on that given Saturday. When they play at USC, by that point, this USC program's demoralized, and they're not going to pick up in that game because they're going to be coming off the UCLA game, and then they're going to be in a position where there's no bowl game. I don't see them getting up for that game. So Notre Dame's going to run it out here, and they're going to finish 11-1. Last one is a team that nobody's talking about. They've been just sleepwalking right through because they're one of the 2 teams in the Pac-12. 2-team Pac-12. That's my conference, UCLA. What a hardship for this Washington State to be one of the 2 teams that stuck around, try to rebuild the conference back up. But they're 8-1, folks. They won 4 games in a row. They've scored 354 points. That's 6th most in college football. So this offense can really hit it, and they can put some points on the board so they can compete. Anybody that can put up high amounts of points because you can move the ball. You got quality offensive line play, quality quarterback play. You got playmakers, and you can score points. You can hang in there with just about anybody. And they haven't played an overwhelmingly hard schedule. But at the same time, you have to go out there and win the games that they put on your schedule. And this head coach, Jake Dicker, he's done a great job. I got to tip my hat to this guy. A lot of tipping my hat this week. But they have at New Mexico, at Oregon State, and Wyoming. This team's got a chance to finish 11-1. They're going to be playing in one of the bigger bowl games, regardless that they're not going to make the college football playoffs. But again, when you were put in this position to start the season and you finish it this way, you got to just tip your hat to this head coach and this program. I give them a lot of credit because they had nothing to really play for except playing for themselves and playing for a little pride, and they got the job done. So tip my hat there. So that's been your college football stock up. We had a lot of them this week, but I wanted to go in depth. And again, these are teams that I wouldn't want to be jumping in front of these trains. They're all playing fantastic football, and the key point is at the right time of the year. So make sure you check out my other videos, my stock down teams of the week in college football, as well as a few other really great videos that I post, deceiving numbers. And you always want to know about that because you got to be careful. And of course, the flat spots, the balloon bursts. There's a lot of different videos I try to get you up to date so you can be a more prepared and better sports bettor so that you can start to make a lot of money betting sports. It's right there for the taking. This is what I do for a living for a long time, and I work 16, 17 hours a day, so I know most people don't have the time to put that kind of time in to be a winning sports bettor. And hopefully these videos will at least get you a little bit more up to date. So if you even got 5-10 minutes here and there to pop on one of my videos, bookmark us, save us, and check out all of Gary Wynn's videos. You can email me anytime as well to GaryGreenWins@gmail.com, and Green has an E at the end. Have a great weekend, folks, and may all your wagers be winning ones. God bless.